Emmrich, if you liked someone, what would you do? To show them you like them, I mean.
Strangely enough, I might have found myself in that situation recently.
You mean you and Rook?
You noticed?
Emmrich, everyone noticed.
Well, it began when we spent some time together in the Memorial Gardens.
Don't, spirits hang around there?
Oh, a few, certainly.
As I was saying, Emmrich, that rune you enchanted for me doesn't seem to do anything.
Well, that shouldn't... Oh, I never aligned the etheric flows. How did I... I must have been distracted.
You have been a little lately. I mean, what with you and Rook becoming...
You noticed?
I'm sure you two getting together is... Only Rook's kind of younger, so...
It's not... What are you getting at, Harding?
You two are sort of moving quickly.
May we change topics?
Emmrich? About earlier, when I brought up you and Rook being together?
Yes?
Look, you were in a crypt with all your dusty books, and then suddenly Rook bursts into your unlife, and...
I keep my books pristine.
I get it. Rook's Rook. Wild and eager, just whisking you away, and now it's all candles and showers of ghost petals. It's great, but you've also been, kinda preoccupied? Mopey.
Mopey? I am not mopey, Harding.
Yeah, you are. You're so mopey, you misaligned the spirit ether, it's twice this week, and your skull thing is crooked.
My collar pin is perfectly straight. Oh, I do worry sometimes what people might think about Rook and myself, given our ages. Not to mention the specter of acting like a besotted fool.
You're not that bad. My mom always says, it's fun to go at full gallop, but you still have to keep your eyes open. Tree branches and stuff.
I will. Thank you, Lace. You're so widely traveled for one so young.
Traveling seems to happen when you're a scout for a semi-political cross-border organization.
I'd been offered opportunities when I was younger. I just never took them.
Emmrich, the world's still out there. You're already seeing it. As my ma likes to say, a Mabari's not worth coppers till he stops chasing his tail.
I'm sorry?
Just means youth's not everything. I've actually never been to Navarra. I've heard so much about the,
Grand Necropolis?
Cumberland Summer Exhibition?
The market?
The Cumberland Summer Exhibition isn't just a market.
Fine market and horse show. You know, there are some fine examples of horses on display in the Grand Necropolis.
I traveled with someone from Navarra once.
I'd heard. One of the Pentagast family, wasn't it?
Did you know her?
Navarra's not a small kingdom, Harding.
I know, but with a name like Volcaran, I figured you're also nobility.
You thought...
No?
I'm afraid not.
You're really not a noble or something? Volcaran just sounds so fancy.
It's a commoner's name. My father was a butcher, my mother a cook.
No offense, but you don't talk like it.
Oh, yes. Without my magic, my schooling with the Watchers, it's education that makes the man, Harding, no matter what anyone claims.
I, didn't say anything?
I'm sorry. I've had to argue the matter before back home. Please compliment your mother on those apple dumplings you brought back for us, Harding.
They're the best, aren't they? You try a pork one?
They looked delicious, but I abstained from meat.
Oh, right. Fruit and vegetables only. Sounds real healthy. I couldn't give up bacon, though. It's so good.
I recall.
You're so strong. So you don't eat meat, Emmrich, but can you eat insects? Are those meat?
Even they breathe and drink and dream. Every watcher must decide where their balance of death falls, what they will and will not take a life for.
Don't worry. I wasn't gonna make you bug cakes.
I can prepare my own meals. I don't wish to be a bother.
But it's fun to share meals. And apple cheesy butter noodles are meat-free. If you weren't a watcher, where do you think you'd be?
I admit I haven't given it much thought. And you? What if you hadn't joined the Inquisition?
Oh, I don't know. Might have gotten married, maybe. Children, vegetable garden, goats.
Do you regret not having those things?
How do you regret something you don't have? Don't know enough about it to regret it, right?
Excellent point. A botanist!
What?
I considered your earlier question, and if I weren't a watcher, I should like to become one of the great botanists. Is that funny?
It's funny because it's perfect. I could totally see it. You tending to your garden, sniffing the dirt, discovering new plants, gently asking the slugs to leave your roses alone.
Well, I should think so. I would have spent a lot of time on those roses.
I'm telling you, Ferelden has the best apples.
The ones Navarra imports from Orlais are quite good.
Orlais? It's so warm there. Their apple trees grow easy. Ferelden's have character. You're making something later tonight, Emmrich?
Just spiced porridge with currants and apricots.
Breakfast for supper? I'll be there. Can Manfred eat?
He doesn't need to.
But can he?
Where would it go? What has dreaming for the first time been like, Harding?
It is so confusing. Sometimes I'll be in a place I know, but mixed up, or somewhere I've only read about in books. And I'll be doing something, and then time skips back and I have to do it again, but it goes different or wrong?
No matter how hard you try to cleave to the original path?
Yes. Why? It's so weird. You know the first thing I'm gonna eat tomorrow?
Almost certainly a sandwich.
They're just so good. What's your favorite?
Cheese toast.
That's not a sandwich.
When I was a student, we'd make pots of rarebit and toast slices over the fire and talk all night.
Okay, but toast in cheese sauce isn't.
Harding, I'm not entering into an argument on the taxonomy of foodstuffs. Again.
I miss having a dog. Not sure the lighthouse would be right for one, though.
Why not something smaller, like a nug?
A nug? They're basically tiny pigs that breed like rabbits.
My pig Lucy was the sweetest and cleverest creature.
You had a pet pig?
Well, she was the neighbor's pig. I was 4 or 5. She'd always let me hug her around her neck.
I'd give anything to see that. Do you have family back home, Emmrich?
Close family? No. How time goes. I always thought I'd get married one day.
Really?
I was younger once.
But necromancers are just so dusty.
I've found companionship amongst the ladies and gentlemen of my circles, thank you. No one for a while, however. Until Rook.
Oh, you sweet talker.
I never thought the necropolis was a place for romance.
Oh, when I was a student, there was another boy I quite fancied. How I wanted to impress.
Of course.
So I showed him a corpse I'd been permitted to practice dissection on.
Sure.
Things were promising until the deceased sat up. A passing wisp wanted the body. Utterly destroyed the mood.
I bet. Okay, Emmrich, did you like the new book more than the Gornight novels?
I fear the revered mothers of massacre was a bit much for me.
Really? I thought you'd be used to gruesome.
In real life, there's a chance to bring dignity to the dead and comfort to their families. Also, these novels grasp of anatomy.
A half-spirit goat man might have 3 hearts.
You mustn't believe everything novelists put in their books, Harding.
Were you reading The Gore Knight of Bloodhaven too?
It's rife with misinformation on magic, a complete fantasy.
It's just a story.
And what if a child reads it? People misunderstand spirits already.
Right, but did you like the part with the possessed exploding eyeballs?
I must have put it down before that.
That was the best part!
Harding, I found the perfect book for you. Spirits and Possession, a primer. Also, I threw in a delightful selection of supplementary materials that elaborate on several concepts. I highly recommend Igmar Trettenhoff's Projected Being on the metaphysical nature of objects perceived in the Fade.
What?
Well, I'd love to discuss what you think of his arguments.
Will there be a test?
Oh, would you like there to be?
Emmrich, no.